was a quiet afternoon in the city. The sun was not too hot, and the weather was just perfect for a walk. I decided to take a small stroll through my neighborhood. I walked slowly along the streets, enjoying the calm and the soft sounds of the city. Birds were singing in the trees, and the leaves were slightly moving with the gentle wind. The city felt alive but peaceful. I wanted to enjoy the day and take my time. As I walked, I noticed a small shop on the corner of the street. The sign said Vinyl Records in old, faded letters. I had passed this shop many times before, but I had never gone inside. Today, for some reason, I felt curious. I decided to enter. The door made a soft sound as it opened, and I stepped into a different world. The smell of old paper and polished wood filled the air. Soft music was playing in the background, and it made me feel calm and happy. The shop was small but full of treasures. Wooden shelves were covered with vinyl records, some very old, some more recent. Posters of musicians and old concerts decorated the walls. I felt like I had traveled back in time. The atmosphere was cozy and the light was warm. It was a place where music lived and where people could spend hours looking for something special. I started walking slowly through the aisles. I looked at many records. There were jazz records, rock, classical music, and blues. I especially liked the blues section. The covers of the records were colorful and sometimes strange. Some were worn and old, with the paper slightly torn at the edges. I picked up one record and looked at it. It had a picture of a guitar and a small musician sitting on a chair. I smiled. It was beautiful. I continued to browse through the blues section. There were so many records that I felt a little lost. Each cover told a story. Some were from famous musicians, and others were from artists I had never heard of. I read the names and years. Some were from the 1960s, some were from the 1970s, and a few from the 1980s. I loved the feeling of history, the connection to people who had made music decades ago. I picked up another record. It was from the 1990s. The cover was colorful and slightly worn, but the image was beautiful. I read the name of the musician. I had never heard of him before. That was interesting. Sometimes the best music comes from unknown artists. I put the record back on the shelf and continued looking. Time passed quickly. I looked at many records, reading names, checking the dates, and enjoying the feeling of discovering new music. The shopkeeper, an older man with a kind smile, was helping other customers, but he did not disturb me. He seemed to know that browsing records was a personal experience. Finally, I found a record that caught my attention. It was a vinyl from the 1980s, and the cover had a small photograph of a musician with a guitar. The title was simple, but the design was classic. I felt something special. I read the back of the cover and saw the track names. They sounded interesting and very promising. I could imagine listening to this music in my room, relaxing and enjoying the sounds of blues. I decided to buy the record. I walked to the counter and placed it on the old wooden table. The shopkeeper looked at it and smiled. A good choice, he said. I smiled back. I paid for the record and carefully placed it in a bag. The feeling of holding the vinyl was amazing. I felt excited to get home and listen to it. After leaving the shop, I continued my walk. The sun was slowly going down, and the city looked warmer in the soft light. I held the vinyl carefully and imagined how it would sound on my record player. I could already hear the soft guitar and the calm voice of the musician. I felt happy. There was something special about finding music that I had never heard before. When I got home, I quickly took off my coat and placed the vinyl on the table. I cleaned the record slightly and prepared my record player. The sound of the needle touching the vinyl was magical. A soft, calm blues melody filled the room. The music was excellent. The guitar, the rhythm, and the voice of the musician created a perfect atmosphere. I could not believe that I had